Good evening, everybody. You know, this is my third time today in this room. We had our press briefing this morning, bi-weekly, where we talked about our legislative agenda for the fall. And then we have the Green Committee meeting in here. Anybody know what the Green Committee is? Anybody care what the Green Committee is? That's a big deal for us. We, of course, focus a lot of our energy. You probably know, Julius, on sustainability. And the Green Committee is a group of citizens, residents in the city who work with us to help advise. We have a Green Cabinet, which is people who lead various agencies, and we have a Green Committee in order to do that. So that was my second time. So my third time is here for this tonight. So we're doing the swearing in for the Advisory Committee to the Office of GLBT Affairs. That would be an advisory body to Sterling. How are you this evening, Sterling? You all advise on a number of things, including issues related to GLBT affairs and the GLBT community. Make recommendations on the focus of the mayor's office of GLBT affairs. Advise on issues that affect the mission of the office, and then, of course, the always catch-all other duties as assigned, right? We hope you all are willing to do that one. We actually reconvened this body in 2012. It was essentially dormant. It's a lot of work that's been done on the boards and commissions in the city. You all may not know this, but when we got here, anybody know how many vacancies there were in the various boards and commissions in the city in the aggregate, what the number was? 900 vacancies. About 40% of the slots were vacant when we got here. And to me, it was just, a travesty, because this is a way in which people can serve. They can serve the city. And I would put the population of this city in terms of expertise and intellect up against any. And why not have people have an opportunity to be a part of things like this? And so we have worked hard. I see our Chief of Staff and Deputy Chief of Staff back there, Chris Murphy and Sheila Bunn. And where's Darrell? Oh, Darrell Gorman over there. And his staff have worked hard, and they've done a great job. I think that we are down now to having no quorum problems. Is that right? And the vacancies that now occur essentially are the ones that just come up naturally, right? Because the time has expired in certain situations. So it isn't as if we have a backlog anymore, and that is really a tribute to the folks that I just mentioned for the great work that they have done. So this body was rejuvenated in 2012 and has focused a great deal on improving the life of LGBTQ residents in the District of Columbia. There are 4 subcommittees, one on health, which was working to complete in 2013 a GLBT health survey. Who's working on that in the room? Oh, that would be the staff, wouldn't it? That would be Sterling and Amy, all right? Okay, well, we'll leave that alone. Then we have one on youth and families, which is working to support the homelessness bill. Who's working on youth issues in the room? All right, good. You guys making a lot of progress?
Always.
Oh, absolutely. Andrew, I knew you'd be working on youth. I mean, that's your smile is your, that's what you do. It's your raison d'etre, right? Then we have one on aging, which would be the other end of the age spectrum anyway. And that is working on competency training, among other things. And then one on public safety, which has a goal of getting compensation for the organizations that provide training to the Metropolitan Police Department. Who's working on that, public safety? Mm.
Yes.
You are more than one, huh, Andrew? All right. And also, which I think is exceedingly important because we can never do enough of this, educating the public about how homophobia, transphobia, and heterosexism, boy, those are some terms, aren't they? How they negatively affect life in the District of Columbia. I like to think that we're probably one of the more progressive and forward-thinking jurisdictions in America. And many of you know I happen to be very proud to have been on the front end of marriage equality being approved here in the city. That was December of 2009. So we're coming up on 4 years of having it enacted, and I think it actually became law in March of 2010. Do you all see where the Marriage Bureau has had to add resources because there's so many people who are getting married? It's a good thing, isn't it?
Yes, amazing.
Yeah. All right. We also have each of those committees is doing a number of things, and since you all are working on those committees, I'm not going to detail all of what they are because you know as well as I do what they are. I just want to thank you for the work that you are doing. We have certain members that are being reappointed tonight, and then we have some new members who are being appointed. I think we have 5 or 6, including the reappointed members. The reappointed members are Matthew LeBlanc, Andrew Barnett, Gregory Sindana, Lester Johnson, and Megan Wallace. And then we have Christopher Obermeyer, who is a new member that's being appointed. Is it 6 altogether?
No, it's 10 altogether.
Oh. Well, somebody put a highlighter through one of these names. You know, I'm just thinking that maybe that was. Are these some of the new members too?
The new members here.
Okay, and I actually have that. Okay.
Okay.
Did you do that highlighter?
No.
Okay, I wouldn't have mentioned it either. Leandria Gilliam, Christopher Obermeyer, Thomas Sanchez, Marianne C. Fuentes, and Benjamin, is it Takai? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Wow. I didn't mess up anybody's name today. That's unusual. Anyway, I'd like to ask the people who are being reappointed and those who are being newly appointed if you would stand and be sworn in. Just think about this. You're being sworn in tonight, and then when you make bad decisions, we promise you will be sworn at. All right, you want to raise your right hand? I, and state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the laws of the United States of America and the District of Columbia, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and will faithfully discharge the duties of the office which I am about to enter. And I promise to contribute to the District of Columbia every dime I have in my pocket. Thank you all. Congratulations. I know I should know this. Who's the chair? All right, I should have known that, Earl. Earl, I think it would be only fitting if you come up and have a few words to say for those who are continuing on and those who are newly appointed.
Earl.
All right, Earl. Forgive me for not knowing that right off the bat, Earl.
First of all, I want to tell the mayor how grateful I am to be the chair of this committee and for the mayor's desire to reconstitute it and build it up again. I just came from Chicago. In the last month, I've been in Chicago, Houston, Atlanta, Philadelphia, and someplace else I can't remember. And while I was in these places, I got an opportunity to talk to the LGBTQ community, people in the community, and talk to them about the issues they're going through and what their city looks like and their involvement and civic involvement in the issues that impact their community. And every time I come back, I am so glad to come back to Washington, D.C., because the things that they say that they have to deal with and things that happen, I say, oh, our police doesn't do that. We actually sit with the police and talk about stuff. Well, we talk about transgender rights. We just passed a bill making it easier for transgender members of our community to change their birth certificates. And so each time I go to a place, I say, well, we don't do it like that in D.C., and I really have to be quiet, because we in the District of Columbia, with thanks to you all who's sitting here, with thanks to this administration and people in the community, have helped to create one of the most positive places for LGBTQ people to live in this country, if not the world. And I have to acknowledge the work and your insight and your courage to do the things you've done to make this place a better place for people who look like all of us sitting around the table. So for that, I want to thank you.
Thank you, Earl.
And secondly, I want to say to the new members and again to the old members, we haven't had this committee in a long time. I think there's a couple people here who was on some of the previous committees, and we're starting to get our footing. We're starting to understand our roles as advisory committees. We're starting to understand our voice and how we need to move within our communities. I think seeing these new faces and fresh blood gives us more energy for the next year to even do more to, we're not in a perfect place. We're in a better place than most places, but there's still work to do. We still need to work to end violence towards members of our community, especially our transgender members. We need to look at the issues that keep people from getting employed, particularly those in the transgender community. We need to make it even more better for our young people so they can have hope and so they can understand that one day they can sit at a table like we are here and make decisions and help to influence the way their lives are going to be. So that's our charge, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad I was able to make it back in time. I'm glad to see the new faces, and I look forward to more work to be accomplished. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Again, thank you all very much. I want to introduce one other person who is here. He's the director of our Office of Community Affairs. He has 13 offices, of which the Office of LGBT Affairs is just one. We were with the former director last night, Jeff Richardson, who now is the director of Serve DC. There was a reception last night for the various commissions dealing with this, service, if you will, for want of a better way of putting it in. Jeff was just elected yesterday. I guess it was yesterday. He was elected to the National Board of Directors, which of course is a great, a great accomplishment for him and a wonderful credit to the District of Columbia. And Earl, let me just say this. You don't have to be quiet when these people start. We want you to unmercifully brag about the District of Columbia. Well, whatever the case may be, we want to let people know what we're doing in this city. This city is doing extremely well. We now have a population of 632,000. I actually think it's bigger because that's the data from July of 2012. We've been growing at the rate of about 1,100 to 1,200 people a month. So we're adding population. Our economy is growing. We have cranes everywhere, as you probably have noticed. Our Deputy Mayor, Victor Hoskins, keeps up with the number of cranes. And last I heard, I think it was around 63 is the number of cranes that we have. Somebody was saying to me at a meeting I was at, our city now has 9 cranes. I said, no kidding. I said, that's really fantastic. I said, our city has, if you want to get the number, multiply 9 times 7, and you will get the number of cranes that we have. So in any event, it's a city that hopefully everybody can feel proud of, that we're going in the right direction. And one day, I think, if we all work together, if we work in a concerted effort, and really understand how we can get this done, I think we actually can become a state, become the 51st state of the United States of America. And frankly, we met today to talk about strategies around that, and we'll be doing more of it. But I don't know how America gets away with going, month after month and year after year, being such a proponent for democracy, and yet we won't even practice democracy in our own nation's capital. We have no vote in the Congress. We have no senators. We can't approve our own budget. If we wind up in this budget battle, which seems to be impending, we could be foreclosed from being able to spend our own money. That's unconscionable to me. I don't know. It's an outrage that we raise the tax dollars. We raise the property taxes. We raise the sales taxes. We raise the income taxes. $6 billion a year from the citizens of the District of Columbia, and then we have to ask somebody else, if we can spend the money. Have to ask someone else to approve our own local laws. The law that Earl talked about earlier, and that is our law around birth certificates that can be changed for people who are transgender. We had to go to the Hill to get final approval on that. That doesn't make any sense to me. It absolutely is unconscionable, and the day will come when it changes. It just can't come soon enough. And I continue to be amazed how many people in the city just accept the reality of that as if it's okay, and it's not okay. So we've got work ahead of us. We've got a lot of work to do on the LGBT issues in the District of Columbia, but we all need to put our hands and our heads and our hearts together on those issues that fundamentally affect everybody in the city. And with one hand, work on the LGBTQ issues, and with the other hand, make sure we all move forward, move a movement forward to be able to bring rights to every resident, every citizen of the District of Columbia. So thank you all very much. Is there a meeting this evening too? I could kind of tell, that it wasn't set up just for the ceremony of this. So Earl, I'm going to let you and Sterling get on with your business, and I'm delighted to be with you all. Thank you all very much.